Hello everybody, welcome back to another Slowly Alex video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys the ultimate guide to starting a Minecraft server. Now, if you've never seen me before, then that's because I'm fairly new to the whole YouTube thing. But Twitch, let me tell you, has seen more than enough of me over the last year or so. Let's just say that we've been some places, okay? I've had season 1 of an SMP, season 2 of an SMP, and in the past I have run many servers and been a developer on some bigger SMPs as well. So I think I am a little bit more than qualified to teach you today how to make a Minecraft server of your own. Now, if you've never done this before, don't worry, I'm going to walk you through the basic beginner steps, including plugins, what websites to use, and different things like that, and even how to set up some basic plugins. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So you want a Minecraft server. Here's the first thing you're going to have to think about is how are people going to find you, right? So if there's a Minecraft server out there, they have to host their world out on the internet for everybody to be able to connect to, right? A single player world, obviously, you can't join in unless you are on the same network as people. For now, anyway. Microsoft might change that in the future. But with that being said, you need to have a server host. So there are some free options. For example, Aternos.org has been free for absolutely forever. I have used Aternos plenty of times, especially when I first started out and I was a little bit less serious about hosting a server. I went with Aternos, and I know there's a lot of memes out there right now about Aternos hosting, but it's pretty good for what you're paying for, which is absolutely nothing. So you guys are looking for a free short-term server plan, go with this. You can always download all of your files again afterward and then upload into another server host if you want to. We have another option here, server.pro. This was a server host that I used. Again, when I first started, it was a great resource. I think they do have a free option, or at least they used to. So if you want to check them out as well. Then we have Shockbyte, another option again for Minecraft hosting. They do host some other games as well, as you can see here. Mostly what we're going to be covering today is just going to be for a Minecraft server though. So if you want to check them out, they're another great resource. Bisect Hosting is another one. This is where the price starts to go up just a little bit because they offer a little bit more support and some other features that maybe Server Pro or Ternos are not going to offer. And Apex Hosting, I know, is another resource that a lot of people have used a ton in the past. I have run into many servers and many server creators that go through Apex. Personally, I never have, but I know that they have an amazing interface and some amazing resources as well for you to reach out to if you ever need some support. And my personal favorite, through my experience, is going to be Modrinth. I'm not sponsored by any of these people. They've never reached out to me. I've never spoken to anybody from any of these companies. So this is all just my raw opinion. I enjoy Modrinth, and the reason I enjoy Modrinth, right, is because they not only host the servers, but they actually have an entire platform dedicated to downloading plugins and mods, right? So it's the easiest way to get content directly into your server. So for other servers, one issue you might run into, right, is when you're trying to install plugins or mods, if that's the direction you're going for, you will have to find them on a third-party website and then upload them into the server. Not a big deal. Even on Modrinth, you might have to run into that every once in a while. But for the most part, other server hosts might not be as user-friendly when it comes to downloading directly in-house. Modrinth is the exception to that from what I've seen. I also love that they have a desktop app that will allow you to access your entire server, download content, download mods, all of that sort of thing right from the desktop app. So you don't have to go to the website every single time. The website is still an amazing resource. All right, first things first, here's what we're going to go and do. We're going to go to modrinth.com/hosting. I will put the link to this website down in the description. First things first, if you're new, you're going to need to make an account, but we'll start with start a new server. There's a server for everyone. So this here is the plan selection. $10 a month, $15 a month, $20 a month. Again, if you are looking for something a little bit cheaper or maybe even free, go with some of the resources I mentioned before. Aternos or Server Pro have some cheaper options there. Let's go small. Obviously, I'm not going to create a server because I have already created one, I own one, and we're going to go through some of the steps that I would take after that on my own server, the Den. But first things first, where would you like the server to be located? So you're going to want to look at where you are located in the world. So for me, I'm on the East Coast, so Eastern North Hill is going to be best. You can also look at this little number here, right? Each of the boxes is going to have a number on the bottom right side. 18 milliseconds, 70 milliseconds, 46 milliseconds. That there's your ping. That tells you exactly how long it took for information to be sent from your computer into that server. So for me, Eastern North America is going to be perfect. Yeah, so once you choose the location of the server that you're going to be in, it's going to prompt you to go ahead and pay. Once you do that, you will be brought directly into the dashboard where you get to choose exactly what goes into your server. We are going to use the dashboard for my server, the Den, right now. So this is kind of what it's going to look like if everything's up and running. If not, you can always go ahead and change things. So right when you kind of log in, this might be what you're brought to, right? So obviously I've created an icon already. I have a name, I have a host name. You can adjust the host name to whatever it is that you want. So this basically is what you will type in for the server IP. So for me, obviously, the den.modrinth.gg. If you guys want to play on NSMP, by the way, that's a good plug right there. But you can go ahead and type whatever it is you want, right? The Den, I don't know, the Archon, Mindplex, you know what I'm talking about? Go ahead, type whatever it is you want here, .modrinth.gg, and that's what you're going to type in under the IP settings. Now that's for free anyway. Later on, you can go ahead and adjust some other settings in here as well. Something called port forwarding can be an option for you if you're trying to come up with a custom IP. You would have to buy that separately on another website, and then you can go ahead and use that on here as well. There are more tutorials online for that. I am not using that for my server, so I'm not going to run you guys through that just because I'm not an expert in this scenario. But this here is a free and easy option. Next up, come on down to the installations tab. So I have already installed everything. But basically, it'll ask you what your needs are, right? For me, I'm not running any mods, I am running plugins, right? So I went with Paper as a platform. There's also CraftBucket or Spigot. Those are the three big ones when it comes to running plugins. Forge and Fabric are ones that are very big for running mods. So if you guys are looking for mods, then I might download those. Or if you don't need any add-ons, only vanilla Minecraft, then obviously there's the vanilla Minecraft for you. You can find your game version in there as well. We are running 26.1.2, and it will automatically find what paper version is going to be best for you. So, with that being said, what you have to think about when you decide your game version is what kind of plugins are you going to install. You are going to want to find a game version that's going to be compatible with all of the plugins that you want, because if you don't, then you're not going to be able to get them, right? So I had to decide between 26.1.2 or 26.2, right? Two different Minecraft updates. The only deciding factor that I had to take into account was what plugins I wanted. So I couldn't run with certain plugins like Core Protect, which I think is an essential plugin, Advanced Portals, things like that. You know, I couldn't run with any of that if I went straight to 26.2 because of when I updated my server. All right, next up, you are going to want to come right on over here to your Files tab after you load the server. If you run your server as soon as you do it, that's going to be great. It's going to download all of your assets that you're going to need. It's going to create all these folders for you. It's going to ask you to accept the EULA, the End User License Agreement, basically saying you're going to just follow all the rules and not be a scumbag on the internet. Easy enough, right? So after you go and do all of that, you are going to have most of these files right here. Obviously, I'm going to have a few more because I've already created a whole lot of files just through my plugins. This is the section, however, where you can change whatever it is you want. Mostly, we are going to be focusing on the plugins folder. So go ahead and click in the plugins folder. For you guys starting out fresh, it's going to be empty. There are a few plugins that I would recommend getting, right? And I'm going to show you those right now. All right, here are the basics. First things first, we need Essentials. That one is going to be all of your basic plugins for the server. It's going to give you access to /home, /TPA, /here, things like that. It's the most basic plugin that I would absolutely recommend for anybody that's going to start a server that is going to use plugins. This is going to be an amazing resource for you. I will put a link to this down in the description, essentialsx.net/downloads. This is going to bring you to the spot where you will select which plugins you want to download. I would go with Essentials X, obviously, that is required. It's the core plugin that will make everything else work. It has some recommended add-ons. I always go with Essentials Chat and Spawn. If you have a Discord that is related to your server, I would recommend Essentials X Discord. I have that in my server, and it's great. It will translate the chat from Minecraft into Discord and vice versa. And then you can always go through and install some of these other ones as well. But Essentials X Chat, and Essentials X Spawn are the basics that just about any server could go for. The next plugin that I'm going to show you guys is going to be Core Protect. Now, I'm going to show you exactly what it does in my server when we get to that portion of the video. But for now, just know that this is an amazing server when it comes to rolling back areas and kind of being in control of everything that happens on your server, both in the future and in the present. And you'll understand more later on. The next plugin is going to be Luck Perms. There are lots of permission plugins out there that you can choose from. I enjoy Luck Perms. It's the best one that I've used, and I've used a handful of them throughout my time owning servers. Now, if you don't know what a permissions plugin is, basically, it controls who can do what in your server. And you can set up different ranks, have different prefixes inside of the chat, and things like that. Now, I'm sure you've seen plenty of servers before where people have all sorts of different creative ranks, and maybe even admin permissions or things like that. This is the type of plugin that you need for that. I will show you exactly how to set up some permissions as well, just the basics, just the rundown, and then we will get into it. And finally, this is going to be the last plugin that I'm going to recommend. Now, these obviously are the 4 most basic plugins that you can get on a server. There are plenty of other plugins that you should get that I am not going to cover in this video. If you want another video that will go over plugins that you can put into a server, maybe we can do different styles of plugins for different styles of servers as well. Let me know down below, and I will absolutely make that video. But for now, I'm going to just cover the 4 most basic plugins that you can get, and we'll go over them in the server. This here is Vault. So this actually is basically an essential plugin, especially whenever you're using Luck Perms or any plugin that is going to affect your economy within a server, right? So if you type /bal and it gives you a number back, basically you're going to need Vault. So Vault here, right? It looks like it's going to be an old website. It looks like the plugin might not be up to date. It says it covers 1.17, and it's not even meant for that. It's meant for 1.14, but it actually works in all of the versions of Minecraft. So you have to download this if you're going to get Luck Perms, just because if you don't, it's not going to put the prefix that you put in Luck Perms actually into the chat. So go ahead and download this, and we can get everything started here. So come on back to your server dashboard here in Modrinth and navigate back into the plugins folder. So when you do that, you can go ahead and just click on this little plus button, right? And press upload file. Now go ahead and upload those files, the .jar files that we just downloaded, and they should pop up within a reasonable amount of time. Then you're going to want to restart your server, and it's going to create all sorts of different folders for each of those jar files, right? So you'll have an essentials file, you'll have a core protect file, you know, along the lines of that. And within those, it's going to have plenty of other files as well with different things that you can customize, specifically the config. So those are going to be some very important files that you're going to want to look at. Things like kits might be important for you. You can use those in game as well through commands. That's how you can edit things like the kit, the message of the day, different things like that. The config, however, is something you're going to have to edit through here if need be. Now, we are on my server, The Den. Again, if you need an SMP to play on, feel free. I'm going to leave the IP down in the description. You can also head on over to my Discord, and there's a lot more information there. You can also ask questions, and we've got a really great active community that we interact with just about every day. Here we are. I'm going to show you the plugins that I mentioned today, all in use in game. So, well, first things first, you are going to probably want a spawn for your people to join into, right? Once you get a spawn built, right, it can be anywhere in the entire world. All you have to do, right? The Essentials plugin makes this amazing. /set spawn. /set spawn. That's it. That's all you have to do. Once you set the spawn, that's going to be the spawn point for the entire world, right? So wherever it is that you set that spawn to, whenever a player types /spawn, that's where they're going to head to. That's where the default location will be. That's going to be an essential command that you're going to have to do in order to have a custom spawn. Now, if you don't care where they go, especially like if you're running a vanilla server or a mostly vanilla server where you just spawn in wherever, by all means, hey, no worries, but that plugin for anybody that's running any kind of custom builds, you're probably going to want to do that. Here are all the plugins that I am running. One thing that Paper does really well is it will separate Paper plugins and Bukkit plugins. It separates plugins that are working in green and plugins that are not working in red. So if you are ever looking to know exactly what plugins you have installed, go ahead and just type /pl, and that'll do the entire list of plugins, right? And you can kind of troubleshoot from there. Red, meaning it's recognized as a plugin, but it's not working, and green as it's recognized as a plugin and it is working, and sometimes a plugin you installed is not going to show up at all. And all of these things that you can implement in your server are all customizable and troubleshootable from there. Now, if you have any issues with any of the plugins I've listed today, feel free, hit me up on Discord, and we can work that out together. Now, here's what we're going to go over together right now. First things first, I want to go over Core Protect. Now, the most useful plugin is going to be /co inspect, okay? What this will do is it will let you look at all of the data for any block that you look at, right? Now, if you install this right at the beginning of the server, it's going to have the entire data from every part of the server that you've ever loaded. For me, I recently installed this plugin once they updated to the new version, so I don't have data on absolutely everything. I made this for example, but there's no data at this location, and that's because I installed it after the fact. But this chest, as you can see, a user removed acacia saplings and oak saplings. There we go. Easy enough, right? So that's CO inspect. Another thing you can do is /CO rollback. Now that's going to be very important here. Let's head over here for a moment. Usually this is not something you would want to do in your Minecraft world. However, I'm showing you this just to play test. Boom. All right, let's turn on our inspector again. Let's see. TNT broke dirt. TNT broke dirt. TNT broke dirt. Okay. Well, it looks like TNT might have broke dirt in this area. So here's what we can do now, right? We're going to type /CO rollback. Now, this will give us all sorts of different parameters that we can run through the plugin. One thing we're going to do is user. So whenever it does like a hashtag TNT, that's it saying that a block acted as a user did. So with the user TNT, radius, we're going to do 10 blocks. And for time, we are going to do 1 day. Now, these are the basic parameters that you're going to need to do. At least radius and time, and it will roll back absolutely everything. For user, that is very important, especially like, say someone comes in, they grief your server, right? You're having issues, you're getting reports, you're going to want to roll back that user, not every user in the area, right? So these are what I'm going to do here. And as you can see, it rolled back the damage from the TNT completely, as if it never happened. And that is the benefit, right, of having the Core Protect plugin in the Minecraft server, right? It has a lot more features than that, but these are the ones that I'm going to cover right now. We can do a more in-depth coverage as well of the Core Protect plugin if you guys want to. So just let me know in the comments down below if there are any plugins that we go over today that you would like a deeper dive in. The next plugin that I'm going to show you guys is going to be Luck Perms. Now, if you've never seen Luck Perms before, again, is a very useful plugin. All you have to do is /LP space editor. And that will send you a link to an editor. I'm going to click this, right? I'm going to copy it to my clipboard, and that way I can paste it in my browser. Here we go. This is what it's going to pop up with here, right? And if you go ahead and paste this, right? Just click on that, and you can paste it back in the server. Anytime you save inside of this browser editor, it's going to automatically apply those updates inside of the server. You have all sorts of things up here: tracks, groups, and users. I don't want to show my users right now because I don't want to dox anybody, but my tracks and groups are right here, right? So these are any of the ranks that you guys can see inside of the server. You start out at the default rank, and through my default track that I can customize, I can let people be promoted throughout the ranks. Let's look at the track real quick. So as you can see, you start out under default. After 24 hours in my server, you get promoted to become a member. You unlock special permissions, including player shop permissions, and so on. I have a special group of people that play on Bedrock on my server, and I decided that aside from the member group, they would be listed under the Bedrock group, just to eliminate some confusion. You can be then promoted into the donator rank for donators in my Twitch chat, for subscribers, for people who donate in TikTok, things like that. I have creators, and these are just streamers within the server. We have plenty of creators in the server that stream just about every single day on there. These are builders within my server. They have some special permissions as well. And then my admins. And admins obviously will have the highest permission level, and that's why they go above builder, and so on. Now, how easy is it to set a permission, you may ask, right? All you have to do is come into here, right? The permissions are all here. If you ever need anything, if you ever need to set a permission for somebody, defaultly, they will not have any permissions. So let's set them up, right? We can search in here. Essentials. We want them to run Essentials. Now, what commands within the Essentials plugin do we want them to run? Well, we know spawn is going to be one that we are going to want them to run. So essentials-.spawn, we'll add that in, right? Right now, that's the only plugin that we have selected. You can go ahead and select any amount of plugins that you want, and we'll just add it to the list that you will be able to customize. For now, we are just going to keep it with essentials.spawn. I know I already have it set up in my server. We can do it again, no problem. Essentials.spawn. Now here, this is where you can go ahead and customize things even further. So the value, you can set it to either true or false. That means I can say that, say the default track, right? The member has permissions for essentials.spawn. But I don't want Bedrock players to go to spawn. I can go ahead and exclude that from the Bedrock track. That's going to be very important, especially if you have any unique groups that might be basically identical in every scenario, except maybe they have a different spawn area. You know what I mean? So what you can do, right? Set this to false. Essentials.spawn, we'll set that to false. We don't want them to be able to go to spawn. I'm not going to do that because this is my default group. I need everyone to go to spawn. But we'll pretend that we did, right? Then all you have to do after that, set the value. You can have an expiry, right? So if you say, I want this to expire on July 31st, right? Say we aren't going to fight the Ender Dragon until July 31st. We can go ahead and set an expiration date for that day. That way they can go ahead and teleport to the end portal, and that way we can fight the Ender Dragon together. Then you just press add, and that will actually put the permission out there into the server. It's very important that you come up here and you press save every single time that you make a change. That way nothing ever goes away. Now, one thing that you're going to see here, when we come on over to my member rank, one thing that I have going is an inheritance. That's what it's called. My inheritance is going to be default. So I listed most of my permissions that I wanted people to have in the default track, right? Now that we're in the member rank, they are going to have some additional permissions. Now what I did was I inherited the default permissions and I upgraded on my own. And now that's what I do for every rank that goes up higher than that. I will inherit the one before that, right? So what that does is it will take all of the permissions for the rank before and apply it to that. rank. This can be really good because rather than going through and typing all of these permissions through again, all I have to do is inherit all those permissions and add in this handful of them. Then, of course, just hit save, and then you can come right back into the server, right? Now you can come back into the server, and clearly what that does, right, is it will set different prefixes. For me, I have the owner prefix next to my name, and Dylus here has the visitor permission next to his name. Now, what that means is we have very different permissions and different prefixes. You can go through and customize all sorts of different things like that inside of the LuckPerms editor, and it's fairly straightforward. Now, again, if you need any help with this, reach out to Discord or comment down below and we can make a separate video again for that. But basically, that's it. That's all that really goes into it, right? We have a server host, we have a basic set of plugins, and we have a basic setup within the server. Now, the sky's the limit when it comes to servers. There's plugins for absolutely everything. I have a custom fishing plugin that adds all sorts of new fish, competitions, and different sell rates for all of the fish that it adds to the server. Obviously, that's not suitable for every server, but if you wanted to see a custom setup, feel free, let me know down below and we can work with it. Now, if you guys have any questions, again, feel free, join the Discord. All of the links that we went to today are going to be down in the description below, including all of the server hosts, all the plugin links, and a link to my Discord and the IP to my server. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video, or maybe on Twitch. Feel free, come and join. We're a great community. Have a good one, guys.